Today's session, those things we'll discuss. So probably I don't know overall knowing about this SAP and SAP modules and all. I'll just give you for the first minute. I'll just give you the brief glance about this SAP and SAP modules, and then straight away we'll come into the business warehouse. So SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. So basically, SAP is in a brand name. It's not an ERP product. It's just like Oracle or Microsoft, how it is having. SAP is in a brand name. So one of the ERP product is for SAP ECC. So ERP product is one of the product in SAP ECC. So in this SAP R3 system, rather I can say SAP ECC system, initially which was developed in 1970s. So when they released the first version of SAP ERP, so they have released in 1970s. By the time that SAP system, like SAP ECC system, which has been divided into three kinds of modules, which has been divided into three kinds of modules. One would be the functional modules, technical modules, and then administration modules. The functional modules, we have a lot of functional modules which is in SAP, like finance and controlling, material management, production planning, production plant maintenance, sales and distribution, human resources, warehouse maintenance. Like this, we have a lot many functional modules which are there in SAP ECC system. And we have one pure technical module that is ABAP4. ABAP, Advanced Business Application Programming. 4 means fourth generation language. This is the next generation language, high-end programming language. And for the server administration, so they have designed one module which is base module. So like this, when they release SAP R3 system, this R3 system which has been divided into these three kinds of modules. Okay, so SAP BW, it is not one of the module in SAP ECC system. How SAP ECC is in a separate application in SAP, the BW also one of the application in SAP. Like we have a lot of applications like SAP ECC, SAP CRM, SAP SCM, SAP BW, like that. So BW is one of the application with respect to the data warehouse. With respect to the data warehouse management. So what is BW here? Business warehouse. SAP BW is a business warehouse. This is a data warehousing system. Basically, the BW is in a data warehousing system with optimized data structures. So they just maintain the data in a very organized way. They just optimize, which is with optimized data structures for reporting and data analysis. For reporting and data analysis. So basically, the BW primarily designed for the data warehouse management. The primarily designed for enterprise warehouse solution. Enterprise warehouse solution. Basically, when you wanted for the consolidated reports, when you wanted to have a consolidated reports, not just module specific reports. Generally, we start using this BW. Consolidated reports means here we have lot of functional modules, right? So when you want to get data from multiple modules data, that is consolidated reports. Like when you talk about the consolidated reports, obviously the BW still has a trump card. BW still has a trump card. But if you want the module specific reports, ultimately the BW is not at all required. The BW is mainly used for consolidated reports. Okay, so this is implemented, this is designed in SAP in the year 1998. What I told you, SAP ECC system SAP ECC system, which has been designed in 1979 for this SAP BW system, which has been designed in 1998. So look at this here. This was designed in 1998, SAP ECC system, which was designed in 1979. This is pure day-to-day transactional system. This is the day-to-day transactional system where we have a lot of modules based on the client business. This is a day-to-day transactional system, but the BW, which is mainly used for enterprise warehouse solutions and for reporting and analytics. Okay, so why we are maintaining this BW for enterprise warehouse management and reporting? Please mute the mic. Good evening, Rajan. Please mute the mic. Chris and Rajan, please mute the mic. Please mute the mics. Great, thank you. And so why SAP people design this? Why SAP people design the BW for maintaining the data and generating the reports? Why don't we use this ECC system? Because why don't we do analytics in ECC system? So when they were trying to use, before 1998, when they were trying to use this ECC for analytics and data maintenance, it might cause the additional stress on the existing system. That is the first point. It might cause the additional stress on the existing system, and also to avoid the too much complexity, in terms of arranging the data in a ECC system. So they would face some problems. So that is the reason why. So we were wanted to have a separate system for data warehousing, which is what we call it as our BW system. So when they want to do some reporting and analyzing the data and for analysis, the analytical system is must. So if you want to organize the data in a better way, we call this system as OLAP system. What do you mean system? OLAP, online analytical system. OLAP means online analytical process. So this OLAP is for reporting and analytics, which is our BW system. So finally, SAP solution for OLAP or analytic is business warehousing system. Business warehousing system. What is OLAP? Generally, the CCP system, what we call it as OLTP system, online transactional process. Online transactional processing, the BW system, what we call it as OLAP system, online analytical processing. See OLTP and OLAP. This is operational environment, day-to-day operations. Like when you want to create any sales order creation, invoice creation, purchase order creation, or billing or delivery. So all the day-to-day transactions will be in the OLTP system, that is ECC system. OLAP is which is for decision support system. Decision support system, that is OLAP system. So look at this when you want to see some differences. So if it is in a target efficiency through automation of business process, here general knowledge, it's okay, no problem. This priorities here high availability, higher and data volume, and simple to use, the flexible access to the data. And view of data, for viewing of data, here the OLTP system is maintained the detail level data, but when it comes to this OLAP, the data which comes from this multiple modules and multiple sources, right? The data which is aggregated. Here the current data, day-to-day transaction data, here we have a historical data. Okay. Since it is the day-to-day transaction data, we can create a transaction, modify transaction, delete transaction. But once we load data into BW, that is read only. Okay. This is high normalization. This is could be a multi-dimensional structure. only minimal here comprehensive for data integration. Here the data volumes is 6 to 18 months would be there, after that the data would be removed. But here almost 10 years data would be available for reporting and analysis. And the archiving also both for both, so it supports this archiving. So this is what OLTP and the OLAP. So our finally what we understand, the OLAP, the OLAP, which is OLAP system is BW for SAP, which is mainly for enterprise warehouse solutions and reporting fund, reporting and analytics. Okay, so this is what the BW system. Okay, but when it comes to this BW, what I told you, in the year 1998, the first version of the BW which was released, right? So when you quickly look about this versions of this BW, look at this here. So right from the version 7.1998, the first version, which is 1.2a, which was released. So by the time, what they were calling it as business information warehouse, BIW, business information warehouse. Okay, basically it is in a data mining tool, in fact. So 2.0b and 1.2b, 2.0, 2. Like 2.1c, like till 2.x, we were calling it as BIW, business information warehouse. But after 2.x, once they start using, start releasing the version 3.x, the first version is for 3 is 3.0a, they just change the name, the rename from BIW to BW, business information warehouse to business warehouse. So it was there till the 3.x, till 3.5 we were calling it as BW. After 3.x, they have released the next version with number is 7.0. So by the time 7.0 or 7.0 was the major release, by the time it was fairly stable for some time. It was fairly stable for some time in 7.0. By the time we started calling it as business intelligence. Business intelligence. But around 2008 or 2009, SAP people purchased one a reporting tool, high-end reporting tool, which is called as business objects, which is called as BO tool. So before acquiring the SAP, that BO tool name was BobJ, BOBJ. BO tool name was BobJ, BOBJ. But once they purchase, SAP people, they just renamed it with BIBO. Earlier BOBJ, they just renamed in SAP is BIBO. But already we have a business intelligence tool with BI name, right? But BO tool name was BIBO. BO, that is BIBO. Okay, please mute the mic, Neil. So once they acquire, once they purchase, once they get into this SAP, the BO tool, the name was BIBO. But already we have a BI, right? So to avoid the confusion of BI and BO, right from the next version of Business Warehouse, they just again they change the name from BI to again BW. From BI to again BW. So right from the version 7.3, again we started calling it as Business Warehouse. Right from 7.3, we started calling it as Business Warehouse. In 7.3, see, till 7.3, till the version 7.3, SAP didn't have their own database, not only for BW, even for SAP ECC or CRM, SCM. So they didn't have any standard data source, their own data source. They were using the third party data sources like Oracle and SQL servers. So with respect to the BW, till 7.3, they didn't have any their own database. But in right from the 7. When they start using 7.3 only, so in the year around 2012, in the year 2012, they released their own database, which is HANA, HANA. They released their own database for all the SAP applications, which is HANA. HANA means high performance analytical appliance. HANA means high performance analytical appliance. Initially, we started using HANA as a database. So this SAP HANA is a database just like any other database. We have some Oracle, SQL Server like that, right? SAP is a database just like any other database. Only thing is, it is in-memory database. HANA is a database with in-memory architecture. In-memory architecture. So this HANA, basically, since it is in memory, this HANA database stores the data and process the data in the main memory. Here the main memory is nothing but a RAM. So within the RAM, which stores the data and processes the data. Okay. So within the RAM, which maintains the data in the main memory, in the RAM, right? It doesn't mean that every data is stored in the main memory. So we have an options of specifying which data has to be in the main memory, which data has to be in the secondary memory, which is hard disk. We have some options. Okay. So that is what HANA. HANA is not only, see, as of now, HANA is generally, we call it as HANA is in a database, right? But HANA is not only referred as in a database, but also referred as a platform. When you say platform, it has got its own application server where you can deploy, where you can develop your applications and deploy on top of it. So not only SAP HANA is not only using as a database, we are also using as an application server also. And the HANA stores the data in a columnar tables. Generally, for other databases, we stores the data in a row-wise table. But whereas since the HANA stores data in a columnar table, the accessing is pretty much faster. Okay. So this is the database. Actually, SAP HANA is a database with unique in-memory architecture. So it is a simpler data modeling system. HANA is in a simpler data modeling compared to any other database. Like that is the reason, like, yeah, unlike any other database, generally the other database they get stores the data in the hard drives, but whereas HANA stores in the in memory. So that is the reason whenever we need the data, system can access directly from the in-memory storage instead of calling data from the hard drives. So, so ultimately what will happen? So the system runs faster by extracting the information whenever we need it. Since the data which is in the main memory, so whenever we need, we can able to access the data is pretty much faster. That is the basic importance of this HANA. Okay. So we started using HANA as a database right from the version 7.3. Right from the version 7.3. Okay. So why we are using HANA is it has got some uh, basic strong strengthening points. So one is business intelligence, faster processing, and a flexible approach. Business intelligence is HANA is good at data processing and analytics. HANA is good at data processing and analytics because the SAP HANA offers the advanced analytics. So basically, it will not only handle the huge volume of data, it also allows you to access the information in real time. It can able to access the real time information. Okay. Actually, the BW, when you are using the normal BW, it won't get the live data. won't get the live data. The second point is faster processing. Since the HANA database with in-memory mechanism, right? So ultimately it is extremely faster. I mean to say, let's say for example, if your ERP system is currently handles 10,000 transactions per day, let's assume that. But when it comes to this HANA, SAP HANA helps to reduce the time it takes to process the data, even though we have huge volume of data. That is what the faster processing. The third one is flexible approach. So here the HANA can integrate both external and internal sources seamlessly. I mean to say it has a flexibility of integrate with other database and ERP systems also. That is the reason why here you I mean to say you don't have to give up the current system interfaces. Don't have to give up the current system interfaces. So all the system interfaces it takes care. That is what SAP HANA. That is the advantages. But only the limitation is it can't bring all the transactions to HANA from ECC. It can't bring all the transactions to HANA to ECC. But the advantages, so there is no latency in terms of the data fetch for HANA, and as well as the SAP HANA is able to consume the data real-time data. It consumes the real-time data from the ECC system. So the processing of data is completely real-time and extremely fast. So that is it because so it is trying to hold the data in a different layers. I told you that warm layer, hot layer, and cold layer. So it is distributing the data in a different layers. So the data which is frequently accessing, the data which will be in a hot layer. If the data is rarely accessing, that would be maintaining in a warm layer. The data which is in once in a while accessing, that would be maintaining in a cold layer. Okay, we'll be having the 3 layers. So I mean to say the non-urgent reports would be still run on BW environment. Non-urgent reports also would be still on BW environment. That is the reason why HANA, what we call as, it is the hybrid database. HANA is a hybrid database because it does not hold the data inside the hard drive. Does not hold the data inside the hard drive. So that is what the basic importance of this HANA. One HANA as a database, once we start using as a database in a BW system. So what I told you, when it comes to this versions, right from the 7.3 till the version 7.3, when they release the 7.3 version, there is no HANA database. But in the middle of the when we are in a 7.3 version, we started using HANA as a database. So that is the reason. So right from the version 7.3, we started using HANA as a database. The moment we start using a database, we were calling it as SAP BW 7.3 powered by HANA or SAP BW 7.3 on HANA. 7.3 powered by HANA or 7.3 on HANA. So they just names are interchangeable, but one in the same. Names are interchangeable, but one in the same. Okay, but once we start using HANA, SAP 7.3 rate. So initially, once we start using HANA as a database, so initially the HANA was introduced to BW for the entire idea was to improve the performance of the BW applications. Main usage of HANA with respect to the BW initially was the performance of the BW applications. So gradually what happens is gradually we started pushing down the many of the applications to the HANA database layer. We started pushing down many of the applications to the HANA database layer right from the version 7.3. But what is the importance of 7.3? Look at this here. This is 7.3 version. In BW 7.3, HANA focused on enabling HANA as a new database platform for BW, thereby providing excellent performance for data intense operations. Data intense operations. But when it comes to this BW on HANA, BW4 HANA, it is just naming terminology is interchangeable, but once into the same. But right from the 7.4, right from the 7.4, they start doing a lot of simplifications. Start doing lot of simplifications. So by using the along with the performance underlying performance, they will be having a rich set of new functionalities which has been added right from the version 7.4. What are those functionalities here? They start introduce some HANA optimized objects, something like smart data access, composite provider, advanced DSO, Eclipse based modeling tools, and the extended storage like that. Generally, when you go to this BW system, so look at this, I'll just show you the server. This is SAP GA where we can design the data models. Okay, we call it as graphical user interface. Even for the even for the EC system or BW system or S4 system, everything we started using SAP GA. It is in a front end through which we can get into the BW system. We're just providing. Generally, when you get into this SAP, not only for BW, so we should be using some codes that is called as transaction codes. We call it as. So RS7 is in a transaction code where which will be getting into data warehousing workbench, where we can design the complete data models here. Okay. So the base objects, final objects in BW this is called as info cube. Okay. This is called as info cubes, and then some DSOs. Okay. Let's look at this here. These are the objects on which we can design the reports. Data store objects, info cubes, multi-provider, virtual provider, info sets like that. Okay. So this is our SAP GA, SAP front end to design the data models. To getting into the design the data models, we started using SAP GA. Here, what I am trying to tell you is right from the 7.4, they have released some new objects to maintain the data and for generating the reports. They have released these new objects: smart data access, composite provider, advanced DSO, like that. So the smart data access, this is for open ODS writer, smart data access. This is where the data is in HANA underlying tables or views. It can be directly seen into BW system. Still the data would be there in BW HANA underlying tables. From HANA underlying tables, we can directly see the data into BW system without loading. For that, we use something called as Open ODS, which is this Open ODS is in a new HANA optimized info provider, which is a relatively similar concept of virtual provider. So look at this here. We have something called as virtual provider. The same concept, instead of using this virtual provider, we start generate some new HANA optimized object is Open ODS. Open ODS. So through which we can fetch the live data from the HANA system. Through which we can fetch the live data from the HANA system. Another HANA optimized info provider is composite provider. So the composite provider, you can say it is the replacement of, look at this here, we have some multi-provider and info set. Instead of maintaining these multiple info providers, they just create one provider which can satisfy the multi-provider and info set functionality. So basically, the multi-provider works on this union concept. The info set works on this join operations. Okay, but which is one composite, which is the one provider, that is composite provider. So which combines data from several info providers. Multi-provider is nothing but multiple info providers data with the union concept. Info set is nothing but also multiple info providers data with the intersection concept. So which combines data from several info providers and makes the data for this data available for reporting and analysis. So what I'm trying to tell is, instead of maintaining two providers like multi-provider info set, so what is the functionality of the multi-provider and info set? So for both the functionality, the composite provider can satisfy it. The composite provider can satisfy. I mean to say, the union and the join operations are executed in the HANA. See, why we are using is generally, so when they were using join operations, the join operations was executed on the application server. The join operations were executed on the BW application server. So by the time, since it is executing on the application server, so it was basically, it was in a time consuming process. So it was degrading the performances. So instead of that, once we start using composite provider, okay, all the union and join operations are executed in the HANA database. It just pushed down the applications, it just pushed down the logic into the HANA database deep into that. So that is the reason why, so it can handle the performances. So but the concept would be the same. Here when you go for this composite provider, they will be having two radio buttons. When you want to use the what I can say, union functionality, we select the union. When you want to use the join functionality, we just select the join. That's it only. Okay. And apart from this, what is the other importance of this composite provider which is introduced is, composite provider is the first object which will allow you to use HANA models in the BW. So not only developing the union and joins, it can allow you to consume SAP HANA views into the composite provider. That is the other importance of the composite provider, which was released in the version right from the 7.4. Okay, so that is the one basically. Okay, so this is what the composite provider. And next, advanced DSO. Advanced DSO is suitable for, I mean to say, the substitute for info cubes and DSOs. Look at this here. We have something called as, you go for this info cube, you have a standard info cube, real-time info cube like that, right? As well as when you go for this DSOs, data store objects. We have types of DSOs. So we have a standard DSO, direct update DSO, right optimized DSO like that. Okay. But what is this one is advanced DSO. Advanced DSO is substitute for all info cubes and DSOs. Okay. The ADSO is the consolidating DSOs and info cubes. ADSO is consolidating DSOs and info cubes, all DSOs and info cubes. Rather, I can say it is the central component. The central component is ADSO. It is just like how you had the info cubes and DSOs in a regular point of view. But the thing is here, advanced DSO which maintains data physically. Advanced DSO which maintains data physically. So the advanced DSO, ADSO which could be able to satisfy all the functionalities of DSOs and info cubes. Okay. But the concept is, the base concept is same. But by using that concept, they just developed this advanced DSO. That is the one, another HANA optimized info product. So finally, how many HANA optimized info products? Open ODS view, composite product, and advanced. And apart from this, they have introduced something called as Eclipse based modeling tool. They have introduced something called as Eclipse based modeling tool. So basically, one of the important of this BW is the BW has the HANA Studio. So here what I told you, so whenever we design the data models, we start using this one, right? We start using this SAPGA, right? This SAPGA, right? But apart from this BW modeling tool, we have something called as HANA Studio. We have something called as HANA Studio. So look at this here. This is HANA Studio. So in this HANA Studio, what generally we do is, so we just attach our systems, BW and ECC systems, to this HANA Studio where we can design the HANA optimized objects. So look at this here. What I told you, the recently objects, what are those? We'll be creating from here only. See composite provider, open ODS view, advanced DSO, like that. Okay. This is the HANA Studio. So what they are saying is Eclipse based modeling tool. So this common Eclipse based modeling tool which is for to enhance the data modeling. Of course, by using this BW SAP GI, we can develop the data model, right? To enhance the data modeling, we started using another front end tool. So actually, the HANA components, HANA runs on HANA Studio, which is designed on Eclipse platform. This platform, what we call it as this platform, what we call it as Eclipse platform. Okay, the HANA Studio is just a plugin in Eclipse, which is used to do, which is mainly used for creation of all the objects, all the BW objects. So the thing is here, Eclipse version gives you the ability to have all the properties of the BW objects. All the properties of the BW objects. But the thing is here, HANA Studio, to use the HANA Studio, we don't require any transactional codes, what we use here. So here we are using T codes, I told you, right? This is SAP environment, SAP BW system. When you log on the BW system, so here we start using transaction codes. At HANA level, we never use any transaction codes to design the data model. So this is what the advantage of SAP BW 7.4. 7.4, which has been introduced, new set of rich functionality, which is smart data access, composite pro, advanced views, which is mainly used for to consolidate the old info providers functionality. For composite provider, they will be having multiple info providers, right? For advanced days, they are having multiple info providers to consolidate. Okay, and we have something called as extended stories. So extended table also introduced to maintain the data as a secondary level, which is technically based on the IQ technology. So these are the options. These are the new editions which has been released in the version 7.4. And when it comes to the 7.5, version, so here what happens is every object, whatever the object you create in BW HANA, for all the objects we have we have HANA views generated automatically. So whatever the objects which we created here, the corresponding objects, corresponding views we can able to see in the HANA level. Corresponding views can able to see. That is one advantage. Another composite provider. So we can use one composite provider into another composite provider. That is another advantage. In BW 7.5, we have a query designer. See, the BW system, we have the reporting is integrated. We have a front-end reporting tool that is called as Business Explorer. Of course, in the next session, we'll try to discuss the architecture of the BW. Okay, we have a query designer here. In BW 7.5 onwards, query designer is completely integrated with HANA Studio. How we can check this one is, so when you go for this query designer, so look at this is the query designer. Here we are using by using SAP GUI. This is the query designer where we can design the queries here. Okay, so it is being integrated with the HANA Studio right from the version 7.0. Right from the version 7.4, it is completely integrated with the query designer. See, we can design the query here from here. Instead of from SAP GA, we can even design the query from here. Okay, like this. We provide this one. It will take into the query design, which has been integrated. See here. Okay, like this. So we started. So right from the version 7.5. So I abandoned the GA. We are trying to skip the GA. It would be completely work on this HANA Studio, which is the HANA Studio is completely integrated with the BW applications. But still, we should be using SAP GA. Okay, SAP GA would be pretty much alive for creating the processes and for transportations or for any administrative activities, or when you want to run the queries, and even still we can design the developments, all the stuff by using SAP GA. Okay, so in SAP 7. BW 7.5, so the BW 7.5 contains both old objects and new objects. What are the old objects? What are the new objects? Look at this here. When you go for this one, see, look at this here. These are all we call as classical BW objects, something like multi-provider info set. Okay, local composite provider. See, instead of that, we can use only the composite provider. Virtual provider. We have something called as transfer provider. For that, we'll be using only OpenODS. For info cubes, DSOs, or something like a hybrid provider or PSA. So we can use only advanced DSO. Info object is in a core object which still remains the same. Even we have a lot more options, lot more versions that come across. The info object is remains the same. There is no change. So this is what 7.5. This is what 7.5 options. But here generally when you want to upgrade, so we can directly upgrade from 7.3 to 7.4, 7.4 to 7.5. But when you want to upgrade from 7.5 to BW4 HANA, there is no upgradation. There is no upgradation. So when you want to upgrade, instead of we calling it as an upgrade, we just calling it as a migrate. We need to migrate from BW 7.5 to BW4 HANA. To migrate the data models from 7.5 to BW4 HANA, we need to have a starter add-on pack. What we call it as, we need to have a starter add-on. It is, which is basically it is in a software component. It is a free component. We can download it, which will provide this provide that with a, I mean to say which provides to do any kind of to do the migration automatically from 7.5 to BW4 HANA. I mean to say, so the what I told you 7.5 which maintains the old objects and new objects, right? Let's say for example we have an info cube in 7.5. When you're trying to migrate with help of starter add-on pack into BW4 HANA, the info cube which automatically convert into the advanced DSO. If it is in a DSO, the DSO which automatically converts into the advanced DSO. If it is a multi-provider info set, which automatically converts into the composite provider. Okay, so that is the things which we need to make. So when you want to migrate from 7.5 to BW4 HANA, we should be having at least the service pack is 4. Only after service pack 4 only we can able to migrate from BW to 7.5 to BW4 HANA. Once we migrate from BW 7.x to BW4 HANA, finally you will be having only 4 info providers. But when you want to migrate from 7.3 to BW4 HANA, it is not at all possible. Even if you are in a 7.3 or 7.4, first we need to upgrade into 7.5, and from the 7.5 only they allows you to migrate to BW4 HANA. So once it is migrated, finally how many options, how many providers we have? Only 4. They just minimize the info providers. They just minimize, they just consolidating the info providers. So instead of 4, only 1. Instead of 3, only 1. Instead of 2, only 1. Like that. Okay. This is how the BW4 HANA which comes into this picture. Okay. So basically the BW5, so it is not upgrade, okay, from BW 7.5 to BW4 HANA. It is not an upgrade. It is only the migrate. Okay. So we have to do some conversions. We have to do some conversions, like from info cube DSO to advanced DSO, multi-provider info set to composite provider. But in BW 7.5, latest service pack is quite similar to the BW4 HANA. See, almost 7.5 and BW4 HANA is almost same. Only the 10% features which has been new into this BW4 HANA. Okay. So here the BW 7.5 is the kind of intermediate version that SAP releases. It is in a transition version, I can say. So in the BW 7.5 it supports new objects and as well as the old objects also. New objects and old objects also. But the SAP point of view, BW 7.5 environment is go and ready for B4 HANA switch. Go and ready for B4 HANA switch. So what are the basic differences? Almost same, right? What are the basic differences between 7.5 and the BW4 HANA? They have some differences. The technology point of view, software point of view, and then technical point of view, some differences. Okay. So what are those differences? The technical point of view is here till BW 7.5. Even if you don't have a HANA system, even if you don't have a HANA as a database, we can work the BW things with the help of SAPGA with the other non-SAP relational databases. But when it comes to this B4 HANA, B4 HANA runs only on HANA databases. Only on HANA database. Unlike BW4 HANA. 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, it can able to run without BW or without HANA database also. And the second technical development point of view is it can only keep HANA optimized objects, BW for HANA. That's what I shown you, right? It can only keep HANA optimized objects, only composite plot, open ODs, or advanced DSM objects. There will be no classical objects. But to develop this one, the functionality is right from the classical objects only. Okay. So what I told you, for till BW 7.5, where is that? Till DW 7.5, you can have the old objects and new objects, but in BW for HANA, there is no old classical BW objects. Okay. So that is the main differences of technical point of view. Okay. So when you want to upgrade from, like when you want to migrate from BW 7.5 to BW4 HANA, so we should be having some tools, right? We should be having some tools, right? Add-on tools. This would be the tool which we can directly download. That is the technical point of view. And but the technology point of view is almost same. There will be not much different. Okay. So we can't really make a lot of difference. But the technology point of view, like the 90% of the things what is there in BW for HANA, okay, so it can be done in BW 7.5 also. Only some deltas and other features we have in BW for HANA. But the software point of view, we have some lot of differences. Software point of view, there will be having some huge differences. So what are the differences is basically in any SAP, any SAP works on the NetViewer platform. SAP, all the SAP applications like SAP BW or SAP ECC, CRM. So it works on the regular SAP NetViewer platform, what we call it as NetViewer product. It is a NetViewer product. But BW for HANA is not a NetViewer delivery. So it has got very thin ABAP engine and application server and a HANA database, which is Fury based. So that is the reason what will happen is any kind of new versions will not have to wait for this NetViewer upgrade. So we can straight away release them whenever we want. We can straight away release them whenever we need. That is the main point with respect to the software point of view. And generally, for to install the SAP BW system, hardly it will take more than 10 hours to implement SAP ECC or BW system. But whereas before HANA hardly takes 3 to 4 hours. But both are premise and cloud versions are available for both BW for HANA and BW 7.x. So it supports the cloud and premise versions. So I mean to say, just mention that it is not a legal successor of SAP BW before HANA, but before HANA is a logical successor of SAP BW powered by HANA. This is what the main brief introduction about all the versions and all. Okay, so this is what the basic idea about this all the versions. So we'll stop this session for today.